great match. Both these players taking a look at their opener. They're happy. We're underway here in game number 3. Temple of Malady here from Duke. He'll take a look at the top card, decide where it's going to go here in just a moment.
We're taking some liberties with this matchup this weekend with only 1 copy of Drowned Sorrow on the sideboard, but he is backing it up with other cheap removal spells.
Schneider with the Mountain. Foundry Denizen. Kick it back over to the Duke. Duke will take a draw. A Forest. No Bile Blight to worry about at this point. There's a Mountain. Dragon Fodder.
Combo deck.
Certainly feels that way sometimes. You mentioned Duke only having 1 copy of Drowned Sorrow, however.
And not black on turn 2 either, so Andrew didn't have to respect the possibility of Bile Blight.
Blue Delta very quickly going to get sacrificed.
And this opening is very good for Andrew because this does warrant a Drowned Sorrow if Reed has it, and it's not really the end of the world if he does.
He'll get an island, so no Drowned Sorrow coming. Could see a card like Courser of Crufix this turn.
Now, Courser can be the brick wall. Andrew with, of course, 4 copies of Stoke the Flames in his list. He's got Roasts in the sideboard, so he may be able to kill it, but Courser can be very effective here.
Well, it's going to try to be. We'll see the top card here of Duke's deck. It's a copy of Satyr Wayfinder. Schneider will draw. Does he have a way to get that thing off the table? Because he's starting to flood out a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of lands in his hand.
Mountain.
And if Andrew had Eidolon in his hand last turn, I think that I would have preferred casting that instead of the Dragon Fodder for a couple reasons. One is you just want to get the Eidolon in play up front. So if Reed has something to play, he takes the 2 points of damage. Now Reed might start casting 4 and 5 mana spells, the Eidolon might not trigger. The other issue is because you have Foundry Denizen in play, you want to kind of load up on being able to activate it as many times as possible in the spots where Reed can block. So when the board's uncontested, you want to be playing 1 threat, and then when Reed does something like play a Courser, you want to be able to play Dragon Fodder and a 1-drop, and then be able to at least attack with your Foundry Denizen.
As it stands, Courser's not just playing the brick,
yeah, and now
the brick
it's
wall
just,
roll.
It is just Moat, and Reed is now transitioning to the spot where he's just able to cast 4 and 5 mana spells at 17 life and largely ignore this Eidolon.
Yep. You do draw a Satyr Wayfinder for the turn, so that will trigger the Eidolon, of course. But the point still remains.
Yeah. Get your chunky stuff out when Reed can't block, flood the board when Reed can.
Sidisi time. Turn over a couple. Does not hit. Just lands go to the graveyard, Satyr Wayfinder on top. That'll be the draw step next turn here for Duke. So go back Schneider's way. The draw is a Lightning Strike.
Right on time. That's a big one.
That'll work out okay.
Because Sidisi unchecked against mono red is really hard to beat.
Bad news. Especially with Satyr Wayfinders.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad news. There's a Mountain. Well, Schneider does have a few options in his hand. It does seem as though priority number 1 is getting the Brood Tyrant off of the table. Swift Spear. A couple of triggers here. 1 for the Foundry Denizen, 1 for the Eidolon of the Great Revel.
Some more triggers.
Little prowess, little Eidolon action. this one feel a little conservative to you, this attack?
I think he's trying to just bluff Reed here. I think he's hoping Reed says no blocks.
Okay.
Because if Andrew has Wild Slash in his hand, a block is medium bad here. The problem is that I think, I don't know what Reed's going to do here, but the problem is if Andrew's last card really was Wild Slash, just send the whole team in there. It's not like these cards are getting any better.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
this, I think this is an easy block.
Yeah, now that attack from Andrew costs him nothing. If he doesn't want to alpha strike that turn, whatever. There's some chance that Reed is not going to block, and that's fine to make that attack. But I think the evidence on the board suggests that Andrew does not have Wild Slash in his hand. And is it in his deck game 3 against your Corsair Crewfix Sidisi control deck? Probably not to begin with. So.
Yeah. Also, as you said, if he does have Wild Slash, I would want to get in there with everyone, because if Reed elects to block Denizen or Eidolon,
Yeah,
you can finish off the Corsair with that,
and
too.
If he blocks a token, well, that's a great attack.
Yeah.
Now again, it didn't cost Andrew anything, because it's not like the Swiftspear died as a result, but that bluff is just, I think, never going to work.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to work against someone of Reed's caliber, that's for sure. And while it doesn't cost him anything, I understand what you're saying, it does cost him the ability to maybe win the game. I think that's the bigger issue.
That's a separate issue. Issue 1 is, what's the risk of the bluff? And I believe the risk is 0, so that's fine.
Sure.
The second issue is Andrew just supposed to attack with everything last turn regardless? I think the answer might be yes, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah. Because the more the game goes like this, the worse it is for him. Like, he has to draw a roast. Like, well, now he has to draw 2 roasts.
Right.
Because things are just getting so much worse for him. Because that turn from Reed is great. He gets to play Murder's Cut, Gain Some Life, Wayfinder, Tasigur, and he's used all of his mana for the turn. You have to imagine next turn he's going to use most of his mana. And the cards in Reed's Duke are way more powerful than Schneider's.
Now, Andrew had Lightning Berserker in his hand last turn. I think there's an argument with his leftover mana. He should have just dashed that into play to tap out. That gets his Denizen up to 4 power. He can send in an Alpha Strike. Reed has to block, maybe the Lightning Berserker, or maybe one of the 2/2s, and Andrew gets in a fair amount of damage that turn. That's a separate issue from the Hail Mary bluff, which is a free roll, but I think just not going to be working very often.
There's Stoke the Flames. Even Satyr Wayfinder is difficult now, because attacking with everyone is fine. It's not very exciting, but Tasigur is going to, if Reed blocks accordingly here, and it's easy for me to say because I know the card in Snyder's hand, but Tasigur in front of Swiftspear, Satyr Wayfinder in front of Finder Denizen, 2 damage will come through. Reed goes on at 15. This is high.
This is a much worse Alpha Strike than Andrew had access to last turn.
Yep.
I think that no matter how Andrew plays this game, he's likely to lose. He just didn't have enough going on, and Reed's draw was able to start protecting himself very early in the game. But overall, I'm not a fan of Andrew's management of his resources. Even going back to turn 2, I think there were some early stumbles there.
Here's a Temple. Take a look at the top card. Reed's going to be happy enough to leave that one on top. And now we have a Sidisi. So I imagine we're going to have a creature coming here. Yeah. It's the other Sidisi, which brings a zombie along with it.
Yeah, that's the new splashy addition to this deck on Reed's side.
Yep.
Easy to see how it synergizes with a Whip of Erebos deck. A lot of powerful things to go find as well.
Now he's ready to start attacking with Tasigur. And he was turning the corner this early. Life is pretty good.
Yeah.
This even feels like a situation as great as a card as Lightning Berserker has been for multiple players playing mono red. There's a Zergo Bellstriker. It doesn't seem like it's being able to save Schneider this game.
A little late to the party.
Yeah. Also doesn't do a great job of blocking at this party. That one's been impressive so far this weekend, though. Here's 5 mana. Oh, boy. That's a Doomweight Giant. Yeah, that's going to do it. Reed Duke's going to win this match here over Andrew Snyder. 2-1. Salty Reanimator will take care of mono red aggro, and the Duke is in prime position for another invitational top 8. He's 10-2, 4 rounds left to go, and he gets to play Miracles.
Former invitational champion as well.
Yep.
Several top 8s to his name. One of America's best players, and as you mentioned, a great shot at making the top 8.
So congratulations to Reed on a very impressive victory there. Again, his Salta Reanimator deck has served him well across multiple tournaments. You think of him playing in the Players' Championship. You think of him playing it here with some brand new additions. If you want to find out about those new additions, of course, that's what our coverage page is for. Sat down in the sideboard to talk about why he chose this deck and why he added some things that he did to this deck. So be sure to check that out as these players put a wrap on this match. When we put a wrap on round